Let's talk some chip makers. NVIDIA looked like it was going to break out, and then it fizzled, and AMD has been struggling for months. The two favorite growth trades in the chip space have been struggling. Let's dive into perhaps what comes next. More of the same or a turnaround? Joining us, Victor Cossel is the TMT desk analyst at Cornerstone Macro. He's got a really interesting report on NVIDIA and AMD. Victor, welcome to the show this afternoon.
Oliver, truly a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate that. I like your report here. You're looking and trying to figure out the difference between chip demand for crypto mining and graphics true gaming demand. What did you find?
You know, I found a disconnect, and it's not necessarily quantifiable, but there is a disconnect between what you read in the gaming blogs and the crypto blogs versus some company commentary fairly recently. If you recall it at NVIDIA's Investor Day, great event, positive upside, raised guidance. They gave detail about a crypto skew. And you know, why did they do that? If you think back to the debacle of gaming chips being used for crypto, there was a bit of a real head fake there, inventory correction, the stock got slammed. So they quantified this specific GPU for crypto. He said there's upside there towards $200 million in the quarter. That's great. Their gaming business at a run rate is, per quarter is about $2.5 billion. So right there's a 10x delta that kind of just gives me a question mark. Secondly, AMD on their conference call, they talked about their crypto exposure being negligible. And if you dig down into the composition of revenues, it is small, but remember, these guys are both selling graphics cards to PC makers. And the sort of disconnect here is in recent reports coming out of sort of the Asia supply chain, is that these crypto miners are using workarounds to get the GPUs. What are they doing? They're buying PCs. What's the analog? Is there a rubber shortage or a tire shortage? Yes. Can I buy tires? No. Can I buy a used car with tires? Absolutely. So that's the disconnect we see. The other part of this is, you know, even if gaming is very strong and crypto is strong and this continues, remember, you're in these stocks for the multiple from data center. You're in the stock AMD for the multiple from servers. Right now, NVIDIA is running gaming 15 of the last 16 quarters bigger than data center. That's kind of another disconnect that investors are probably going to have to confront shortly.
So you've got a chart here that looks at the revenue for gaming versus data centers that's from the Bloomberg. I know those colors. There it is. Okay, well, we've adapted them here. This is from NVIDIA. And the area you highlight here over the past year, data center versus gaming. I mean, gaming's now going above that, to your point.
Yeah, and you know, the travel is a lot more fun than the arrival. If we've ever taken a trip with family, we know that. The travel in getting to that point was that data center would eclipse gaming, and that would continue, maybe into perpetuity, or at least maybe a little more enduring than one quarter. And when you think about the peak in the stock, maybe there was a false peak on the investor day, but when these stocks start giving you good news and they go down, that's the yellow flag. And that's across a lot of large cap growth tech. But in NVIDIA's instance, right, it was the nuance was that data center will be flat sequentially, and the stock went down, and then they had to come out at the investor say, now, wait a minute, it's going to grow sequentially. And that was kind of the relief. But when you look at this, it's still below the gaming revenues. And, is everyone a gamer now? I don't know. Am I? No. Are you? Unsure. But, we're dealing with a very sophisticated customer base. And no offense, like I'm an iPhone guy. I know kind of what it does. But gamers are like a whole nother level of tech expertise. And these guys are in the weeds on the performance. It's a very detailed, technical-oriented purchase to build these things. Same for crypto. And that gaming is running this hot at the same time crypto or Bitcoin is up, 6 times since the fall, just makes me say, like, hey, there's got to be something going on here. Yeah. And to have gaming running that hot with Bitcoin running that hot, Just makes me a little suspect. And then the Asia reports start to confirm there are workarounds. And even the blogs, if you get into the nitty gritty of these tech guys, the NVIDIA SKU that goes into crypto can actually be hacked, as some have reported. And the economics, no matter what they charge you, are still very good to use it for mining.
So it sounds like, Victor, the conclusion here is that, one, there is probably some underplaying being done in the overall narrative communicated by the company and their dependency on crypto mining. If the amount of gaming revenue is getting so extreme, even bigger than data centers, we kind of have to question the sustainability of that if the price of crypto is coming under some pressure right now. So is the net result here a bearish interpretation when we look at the history of the way these companies trade next to Bitcoin price? I mean, it's not 1-to-1, but it certainly is not too far apart either. And we've seen the way these have collided in the past.
Oliver, if I was a professor, you get an A+ for digestion of this note. That's exactly that point. The one caveat I would say is, even if Bitcoin sustains, even if gaming is strong, it's that relationship that gaming and compute is contributing more to NVIDIA than data center, is contributing more to AMD than the server chips. And where do you see that in terms of how the stocks trade? Well, AMD put up a monster number. It's double revenues year over year. They guided up on a $13.5 billion revenue base by another incremental $1 billion. This is awesome stuff. And these are, make no mistake, these are great technology companies. But we're focused on the stocks, companies versus stocks. And the stock basically traded down because gross margins aren't going up. And even if crypto demand is awesome and data center demand is awesome, when gross margins don't go up in semis, 101, raise the flag, yellow flag, if not red. And that NVIDIA on an incremental $1 billion really can't raise gross margin tells you Taiwan Semi, we're investing billions of dollars, hey, 30-year change in our pricing strategy. Now you've got cost of growth risk, and that's where margins start to impede the narrative here.
Okay. Victor, really interesting message and a timely reminder here that as volatility comes back to crypto, maybe we need to keep our eyes on the chip makers as well. Appreciate the walkthrough on the report.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Victor Cossel, TMT desk analyst at Cornerstone Macro, with a heads up that maybe gaming revenue is not all it's cracked up to be if it's dependent on crypto mining.